3, 2, 1. What's going on, everyone? You're watching Ash on Comics. My name is Ash, and today we're talking about previews, specifically Marvel previews. This is their issue number 26, the September edition for November 2019 shipping product. And on the cover here, we have Jonathan Hickman and Ed Brisson, and their New Mutants number 1. Joining me, as always, is Stan the Man. How you doing, Stan? Good to see you. And this is our trusty intern to the channel, Forky. He's also a sidekick, mascot, movie star, cheerleader. Man, the list goes on. We love him. Look at that smile. How can you resist a smile like that to cheer up your day? So we're going to need that smile because we're about to go into Marvel previews. Now, if you haven't watched my show in the past, or specifically haven't watched me do previews, the way I do these is I haven't read this yet. I don't know what's in store. I mean, I don't see the cover, but I'm just going to go through and see this stuff for the first time, and I'm going to react to it. And there's a lot of Marvel stuff I don't like, right? Marvel has been historically terrible in recent years, really bad, to the point where I just wouldn't even buy Marvel comics. And I'm a Marvel guy. DC is not my jam. At least it didn't used to be. But when I came back into comics about a year and a half ago, I started actively buying comics again, I just found myself getting into DC because Marvel was so bad. And I wanted to read comics, and I was like, let me check out DC. And they were doing great stuff. And now they're like, hey, we don't like doing this good stuff. Let's follow Marvel off that cliff like a bunch of lemmings. I think the comic industry is a bunch of lemmings. So here we have New Mutants number 1 on the cover. Let's go ahead and just dive in to Marvel's free previews 26. All right, if you've been following me, then you're going to know that I am a big supporter of what Hickman is doing with Powers of X and House of X, Powers of 10. I did not really know much about Jonathan Hickman other than his reputation. I've heard he did some good work on Fantastic Four in the past. I've heard he did some okay stuff on, I think it was Avengers. He did Secret Wars. He's done some really good independent work. People really speak highly about East versus West, which is wrapping up. My boy Wes over at Thinking Critical really likes the Black Monday murders, which is something I want to check out. And my boy Jimmy, a.k.a. Joshua, over at, I can't remember, just too many names, just call him Jimmy, Comic Quirks, is Jimmy. I don't know, he's trying to push this Joshua agenda name. First, not Joshua, buddy, you're Jimmy. Jimmy. He's a big Hickman guy, which I didn't know he was a big Hickman guy until all of a sudden Hickman was coming on to the X-Men and stuff, and all of a sudden now the word, he was like, it's so good! Hickman is so good! That's my Jimmy impression that he would do. And I was just like, okay, I've never heard you talk about this guy in the past. He can't be that good. Was kind of my reaction. And Marvel had been screwing up X-Men for decades. I was like, there's no way they're going to put on the next Chris Claremont, essentially, and try to fix this book. This is all just a ruse, whatever. And besides, Hickman can't be that good. He's working at Marvel. It's like, so I listened to what Hickman had to say, about his ideas for X-Men and all this stuff. And he was saying all the right things. I was like, oh, wow, I really like what you're saying. Like, you are the anti-Marvel. And I started getting more and more interested. And as the day came out, I wasn't going to get the book. I was like, I'm still not going to get this. I'm not going to jump on this. This is this shit show. We've seen this before with the Rainbow X-Men and then the fraud that was Uncanny X-Men afterwards. This is the third Marvel reboot of X-Men in 2 years. Of X-Men, of all things. We're not talking about Wasp. We're talking about X-Men. But the book was selling out. It was off the shelves like in minutes. And then there was one issue on the counter that was just sitting there alone. And I was like, oh, no one's around. So I grabbed it, told my store, hold on to this for me. And Jimmy, the nice guy that he is, gave me a digital code for the first issue. which was sitting in my pull box, unbeknownst to anyone. And I read that first issue. And I wasn't wowed by it. But I could tell there was something to it. So I picked up the next issue, Powers of 10. And I read that, and I was like, oh, still not wowed by it, but there's something to it. And I was like, I'm just going to pick these books up because I think they're going to be valuable. I think people, the way they're selling out, and they were already going up in value. I mean, geez, some of these books are like $20 a piece already. I know it's speculators and all this, but the point being is I could just turn around and get my money back, right? And then issue 3 came out, and it was just, that was like, oh, sold. That was like, if you know anything about fishing, right? When the fish bites on the bait, you got to wait till it gets a nice big chomp and pulls before you hook it, right? Then you hook it, and then you can start reeling it in. If you do it too quick, you'll pull it out of its mouth. You won't let the hook sink in. You'll miss. Hickman, I didn't jump on that issue 3 and the Moira McTaggart story, which I won't spoil. I mean, I spoil in my reviews. So if you're interested in spoilers, you can watch those. I'm not going to spoil now, but wow. Wow, wasn't a mind blower. And then the next issue came out, and it was better. And then the next, you're just like, and I have to hand it to Jimmy. This is all about you, Jimmy, right now. He was telling me so, and I was blowing him off. And I was like, I don't think so. Hickman is something special. Now, the story is not over yet, right? I always hate calling things before they're over and being like, yes, this is and then, So I'm going to still be a little bit reserved. But regardless, even during that reservation, some of the things he's doing, that House of X #4 issue was one of the most epic comics, one of the most memorable comics I've ever read. The scenes of Nightcrawler and Wolverine in space. Again, I won't spoil it for you, but if you read the book, you know what I'm talking about. You're just hits you in the gut, and you're just like, what? Amazing. So, yep. Jimmy, that's devoted to you. You were right. You told me so. So, Hickman, geez, dog, come on. Oh, this never ends. Hickman, Ed Brisson, who was the only guy writing a good X-Men book in the past with X-Force, and Ivan Rice? Am I seeing that right? Did Ivan Rice come over for what? Oh, DC. Oh, oh, wow. Wow. DC is shit in the bed. They just are intent on losing. Oh, it's Rod Rice. Different Rice. I was like, that artist, doesn't really look like Ivan Rice. I was about to say, man, if DC is starting to lose all their best talent. They already lost Patrick Gleason, right? People started jumping ship over to Marvel. It'll be just like it was back in the 70s, just like where Marvel gets all the best talent. So, anyways, Hickman is writing the first 6-issue arc of the New Mutants, and then Ed Brisson is taking over. Now, I have never been a New Mutants fan. Even back in the days when Chris Claremont was writing them, I thought New Mutants was dumb. I don't want to read about the kid X-Men. I want to read the X-Men, not the kids that are in school that aren't good enough to be in the X-Men. It never struck me as a cool concept. And then the name was dumb. The New Mutants, right? And why is Corsair here? Should be off in space with the Starjammers. Give me a Starjammers book. And a lot of these New Mutants aren't the New Mutants anymore. Anyways, so Magic's cool. Like, these are old enough to be X-Men now. They used to be X-Force, some of them. I will see how the story goes. Oh, so we get X-Force 1 and 2. Benjamin Percy, I don't know. I'm not excited about this Dawn of X. X-Force actually seems to be like the X-Men we want. Wolverine, Colossus, Jean Grey, Domino, meh. But why is Selene? Is that Selene? Is that Black Tom Cassidy? Who's... Now, Fallen Angels, 1 and 2. I like Brian Edward Hill. I like him a lot. I don't like these characters. Young Cable? No, I want just original old Cable. You can't do young Cable. It doesn't work. Why? Well, you could work it. No, it doesn't. Because we need the experiences of the old Cable doing what he's doing and preserving the timeline, not the Cable that has yet to be that guy. Operating within the current present along with the old Cable. And this character is one of my most hated characters in all of comics. And this is not Psylocke. So we have not Cable, not Psylocke, and not Wolverine. That's what this book is. It's a bunch of fakes. So Brian Hill was given a book about characters I hate, and he's the guy I want to root for. And then we've got X-Men. And I want to be super excited because of what I'm reading in House of X and Powers of X. The problem is, X-Men is, admittedly, he's not doing ongoing stories. Every issue is a one-shot story. Even Chris Claremont didn't do this back in the days before writing for the... One of the things that made X-Men was the long story, the ongoing saga. X-Men was one of the few titles that did this. Comics back in the days, the 60s, 70s, and then the 80s where Chris Claremont really built steam, was telling this long soap opera and the saga of these characters. Other comics were still doing like one issue, like, oh, here's an issue of Batman fighting the Penguin, and then it's over by the end of the issue, and then move on. Like, that was old school comics. And some people harken back for those days, and that's fine, but that's not what X-Men is. So I'm a little bit nervous, despite what I've seen so far with House of X Powers of X. But see, House of X Powers of X aren't single issues. Like, it's a 12-issue story. Then there's Excalibur. I could not be less interested in this book. Rogue and Gambit used to be cool when they were part of the X-Men. Jubilee was cool when she was Wolverine's sidekick. Captain Britain was cool when he had a penis. I know that sounds really chauvinistic. Remember when you used to say the word chauvinistic? You can't say that anymore. It's just immediately misogynist. There's no degree. If you don't say anything perfectly feminist, you're a misogynist. No, that's Psylocke now. Betsy Braddock is not a warrior. Betsy Braddock used to wear armor, and she was this fragile, like, little snowflake of the X-Men. And they had to protect her all the time because she was really powerful as a telepath. But that was it. She was like this glass cannon sort of thing. That's why she wore this armor. Now they're drawing her as this like battle maiden bullshit. It's like, oh, all the women can be super tough all the time. I hate this. Where's Brian Braddock? Why do you have to destroy the characters we love to replace them with women? Psylocke was already a character we all loved. We all loved Psylocke forever and ever. And they were like, it's not enough. She needs to be Captain Britain. And that brother of hers has the title. And as long as he's in the way, she can't be ascended to the throne. So off with his head. And then finally, I really hate this modern trope in comics where the villains are heroes. Quit idolizing villains. They are evil bad guys. Do you know how many people Apocalypse has murdered and killed? Okay, I get it. I'm going to be open-minded. Maybe Hickman's rewritten the story. There's something. But it's not right. And then there's the Marauders, which shows absolute disregard for X history. The Marauders were a bunch of murderers. They were the quintessential anti-mutant bigots that the SJWs want to talk about in the books and say, X-Men was always an SJW book, and it was about the racism and persecution of them as a minority figure. The Marauders went and frickin' gunned them all down. Yeah, that's another thing. They gunned them down. So they'd be a perfect analogy for gun violence these days. If an SJW went back and read X-Men from like the 80s, it would just be like their heads would explode. Of like, oh my God, the massive gun violence, the massive shootings. So now we have a group of X-Men who call themselves the Marauders. And look who's part of the White Queen and Black King, who are villains. Okay. I'm sorry. Take a deep breath. Now we've got Annihilation, Scourge. Ooh. All right. I'm kind of cool. Annihilus is a cool villain. You know, he's no Thanos. Marvel kind of ruined their cosmic universe by making Thanos just destroy everybody and everything and be like the super ultimate badass. Like even Galactus can't compare to him. And then have the heroes fight him over and over and over. And they've made it so that now any other villain is just like, oh, it's you? Oh man, I thought we were going to have to fight Thanos again. Oh, it's just Annihilus. Like they've made every other character so pathetic because in their attempt to make Thanos so amazing. So these heroes should just be like, oh, well, fuck, we deal with Thanos all the time. Annihilus is a joke. So anyways, I do like him as a character. He used to be a super badass. Hopefully they can bring him around to that point again, but I'm not going to support this. You know why? Because every issue is a number one. Yeah, every issue is a number one. That's stupid. Absolute Carnage is awesome. The main titles, the side titles, meh. You can skip them. They're just little side stories that are, even if they're okay, have nothing to do with the actual main. But the main one, Donny Cates writing with, what's his name? Ryan Stegman. Stegman. He's amazing. His art is great. Is Weapon Plus number one? Remember Weapon Plus? Remember that came out like the number one? I haven't heard anything since. That was like the comic that came out and everyone was like, we don't care anymore after one issue. And I guess they're doing a tie-in with it. Okay, whatever. Absolute Carnage, Captain Marvel. Oh, for frick's sake. Scream, Curse of Carnage. Are you kidding me? Out of the Ashes of Absolute Carnage, a new ongoing series. No, I don't care about. This will be canceled in less than a year. I'm sorry, it won't be canceled. It will be mini-seriesed. See right here where it says new all ongoing series? CBR, not CBR, sorry, I could confuse them. Rich Johnston of Bleeding Cool wants to tell me that he got an argument with me online about ongoing series and stuff. Like, no, this will be mini-series. And then he'll come out and say, oh, no, it was planned all along to be a mini-series. And I'm like, no, these are ongoing series that they cancel at a given notice, but they don't say they're canceling it, that they announced that it was a planned cancel all along, and then people like Rich Johnson perpetuate that lie because they're shill access media, and because canceling is bad. It shows failure. It shows that people aren't buying your books and they don't like it. And when you have to admit there was a cancel, it looks bad. And when you're Marvel and you cancel over 20 books a month, remember, think about that. 20 books a month, you're canceling. You are a dumpster fire of dumpsters. You're like a giant dumpster that is full of dumpsters on fire. Trying to draw an image for you. Scream, Curse of Carnage, number one. I could not be less interested in this. Venom 20 with Donny Cates. I am. I wish they had a good artist on it, like Kyle Hotz. If you can't get Ryan Stegman, can you put Kyle Hotz on? He would be great for Venom. Look at that cover. Oh, and then if the Annihilus event, which is coming up here in a couple months, wasn't enough for you, we got another event, because Marvel is nonstop events. You know, DC's doing Year of the Villain. I think Marvel should change their policy for 2020 to be Year of the Event. Every month is an event. 12 events. We've got 2099 coming back. Amazing Spider-Man. Except it's not going to be like the old 2099. It's going to be the main line, and then 2099 somehow crossing over. 2099 Omega. Oh, look at the tie-ins. Why? How are these? Look at all these number ones. Are tie-ins. So are these just one-shots? So we're going to have an Amazing Spider-Man arc, followed by 29 Omega, and then you get these little one-shots. Oh, come on, Marvel. You just Just terrible. 80 years from now is 2099. Oh, look. Why is Miguel on him? So it's kind of interesting that they're tying in the main universe into a 2099 storyline. But I just don't like the way they're going about it. 2099 Alpha number 1. I hate when they do this too. Get the Alpha number 1. Get the Omega number 1. Why don't you just make a bunch of number, like 2099 Beta number 1, 2099 Delta number 1, 29. You can just have all number 1s all the time. And look at this stupid Thundar not Thundar the Barbarian. Remember Thundar with his energy sword? Yeah, I know. Conan. It's 2099 Conan. Just when you thought Conan joined the Avengers, like Marvel couldn't do anything more stupid than putting Conan on the Avengers. Oh my god, what a joke. Punisher 2099. Oh, come on, really? Oh. Fantastic Four 2099. Why is there a Fantastic Four 80 years from now? Oh, I don't even care. There's a new Deadpool in town, Kelly Thompson, and of course being supported with a master artist, Chris Bacalo. So they always do. They take their non-merit hires and they put merit artists on there to like pump them up. I think he does great covers. Oh, look at this. Oh, that's Townsend. This isn't Bacalo. Is this? No, this is Chris Bacalo. I'm pretty sure that's his. I think Townsend is his colorist. Like really, dog? Come on. I gotta put like the water bowl up during my videos. But everyone says they like the dogs better than me anyway. So then we get Morbius number 1. Was anyone clamoring? Were you just like, you know what? I wish Marvel would make a series about Morbius. I'd buy the hell out of that. Yeah, especially if it was written by Vita Ayala. I mean, she's just writing the terrible Livewire and being a part of Valiant's demise right now. Imagine if she wrote a story about a nobody character at Marvel like Morbius. It went to an all new ongoing series until Marvel's miniseries is it 6 months from now. And says, oh yeah, that was actually a miniseries. It was all over. Oh. And now Yondu's getting his own book. I think like Marvel is just digging deep into the well. Just like, what characters can we find in some, that we haven't done? Everyone has to have their own book. Punisher Soviet. Max Comics. Are they bringing back Marvel Max? Interior art from let's see what the interior art looks like, shall we? It's not great, but it's okay for a Punisher book, which is mostly about shooting and explosions. It's not really a superhero book. So Garth Ennis, good Punisher writer. The artist is so-so. It's 1 of 6, but see, it's a miniseries. Just have Punisher have his own book. Punisher. Then you tell Soviet. The storyline, Soviet. And just run it. Just build the issues. Punisher should be like in the 400 or 500s by now. Marvel Tales, Doctor Strange, number 1. We're not done. We are not done with these Marvel Tale books that are going to cost people $7.99. And all they are is 3 reprint books. 3 essentially True Believer reprints that would be $1 a piece. It would be $3 for 3 comics. Instead, you're getting $8 for 1 comic. Yeah, you can suck it, Marvel. Spider-Man 3 of 5. I like how it's just Spider-Man. There's no subtitle. No. Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man was Spider-Man. This should be something. It's a mini-series, not just Spider-Man. Right? This is the J.J. Abrams kid book that introduces the new character. So maybe they could use the new character name as the subtitle. And then look, Amazing Mary Jane. Oh, cannot wait. Oh, the pencils look pretty good. That's wow. Color me impressed with the pencils, but wow, they're actually drawing. Look at that. Mary Jane looks like a woman. Where's it? SJW is getting MJ versus Mysterio. Because just regular women who are fashion models can beat supervillains. This looks like a Jimmy Olsen cover. It's stupid. And Spider-Man Velocity, because now Marvel is so bad that they have to make books based on games that are based on their license. Spider-Man is the property. The video game was excellent because it took the Spider-Man license and did really good with it. Marvel, you're supposed to be the trendsetter. You're supposed to be the central visionary of the direction of Spider-Man. You're not supposed to be, in return, copying the people who are copying you. That shows you're not the house of ideas. You're the house of no ideas. I'm happy for people who are fans of the video game, which I am. I just have no interest in it. I mean, I do love the video game a lot. It's fantastic. It's better than any Spider-Man you're going to get in Marvel. Spider-Verse #2. Look, there's another Spider book on Ghost Spider, which is another Spider book. And oh, look, Miles Morales is another Spider book. And then Friendly Neighborhood Spider. People keep telling me that Marvel's going to cancel all the Spider books because Sony pulled out of the MCU, and then Marvel's going to, because remember what they did with the X-Men? And do you see how many Spider books they would have to cancel? Marvel can't do this. There absolutely is not going to happen. Half their line is based on Spider-Man or Spider-Man spin-offs like here, Black Cat. That all these characters would mean nothing without Spider-Man. And then before you say, oh, but they could just replace it with Miles Morales. And so, no, they can't. Miles Morales is part of the Spider-Man license. And so is Gwen Stacy, so is Venom, and so is all the Spider-Man characters. You literally cannot do a Spider-Man book at all. Spider-Man Venom, Double Trouble 104. You wouldn't be able to do this book. Oh, look, Ghost Rider versus Ghost Rider. I could not be less interested. I've never been a Ghost Rider fan, so maybe I'm missing something. But one of the things I'm not missing, well, that's Ed Brisson. I was about to say the talent. Marvel doesn't have very much talent. That's the problem. So they announce all these millions of books, but I can count on one hand their talent. So when you have over 100 books that you're publishing every month and you only have 5 talented people working for you, guess what? You're going to end up with a lot of trash, despite whose characters what. Look, and some of these characters are my favorite characters. When I dog on some of these characters, I'm not insulting you and being like, oh, you like this? You're like, some of these are mine. Like here, Dr. Doom is one of my favorite characters of all time. And I am dreading this book. Because again, I hate when you idolize villains and you turn villains into heroes. And the concept, I read the pitch of this book and it's like, oh, Dr. Doom finds himself as the most wanted guy. He's always been the most wanted since going back to Fantastic Four #5. He's the primo villain of the Marvel Universe until Marvel sold tons of money on Thanos. Like, and they just were like, oh, Thanos is everything now. No, Dr. Doom is the real. And we might actually see this if Marvel's smart in the MCU now that they've kind of blown their wad with Thanos. And like, what do? This is what you do. You replace, you succeed Thanos with Dr. Doom, who is the person who could actually be even a better villain. So, God, look at this shitty-ass color palette on that. Fantastic Four Grand Design. You knew they were going to copy it because the X-Men stuff was such a good idea. But I'm going to give this a chance because I was never a Fantastic Four kid. When I was a kid, when I was doing comics, I always thought the Fantastic Four were hokey looking. But now as an adult, I think they're way cooler. I definitely... It's one of those books that you have a different perception on. So I don't have a huge history of Fantastic Four, and I think this will be a great way for me to experience some of the things from yesteryear of Fantastic Four that I missed as a kid. And, maybe catch up and maybe become a fan. Oh, right as about to say becoming a Fantastic Four fan, Dan Slott. Yeah, couldn't be less fantastic. Oh, look, here's another Fantastic Four book, Negative Zone. This should just be in this 40-page one-shot. Why do we just need a one-shot? Dan Slott needs to take a vacation, go hang out with the family or something, takes a month off. Boom! You put this story in as a fill-in. But you know why I think they don't? Number one, because the number one sell. But I think the other thing that the reason they don't do this is because Marvel doesn't have editors anymore, and there's no real continuity, and so this story won't fit in. You see, it used to be the characters would be doing stuff, and all the other books would reflect it, right, and everything. It's like Wolverine's off at I forgot the name of that island, Madripoor. Wolverine's off having an adventure in Madripoor or something, so he can't be in this other book, in an X-Men book, where they're off in space. Right? Like, the editors would understand and do this. So here's going to happen, the Fantastic Four in the Negative Zone. Well, they can't be if this book's not. But when they're separate books, they can just ignore and say, well, it doesn't matter. These are just separate stories. They don't have to be in continuity. Web of Black Widow, Jodie Hauser. I could not be less interested. Immortal Hulk, people seem to like. Al Ewing is an asshole to fans. He has contempt for me, so I won't buy his book. If you're buying his book, I'm happy for you. I hope it's still as good as people have been saying. I know some of the popularity is dying off, but I'm happy, man. If Hulk can be a good book, Hulk has been a perennial, like, C-list character as far as, like, his own books. He's never been a big selling book on his own. But, wow, people liking it, so bravo. I can't argue with success. Jason Aaron and Dale Keown? What? What? Dale Keown is coming back? Oh, man. Is this Marvel's 20... Oh, it's 25th... Marvel's 25th variant cover by Alex Ross? Why? Marvel's 25th variant cover. I don't know what this means. It's Avengers 26. Okay. Jason Aaron sucks. But... this is the million BC Avengers, where Starbrand is some stupid caveman Hulk character. This doesn't even make sense to Starbrand at all. The whole power of Starbrand is like the most powerful character in the universe. He's an old New Universe character. And the whole power of the Starbrand is like Green Lantern on steroids. Essentially, like, anything you can will to be, you can do. If you can truly believe that you are invincible, like indestructible, you will be indestructible. If you believe you can fly, you can fly. It's all based on as soon as you lose that will, like if you lose your self-confidence, I don't think I can do this, you won't be able to do it. So having some caveman, simpleton-minded character doesn't make sense to me. Like, maybe I'm missing something, but I read some of the early Avenger books, and I was just like, oh, I hate these million BC Avengers. This is dumb. I also hate he Hulk, she Hulk, manly She Hulk. Black Widow joins the team. Oh, good. So we've got a god, a Hulk, a vampire, another god. Why? So what's she gonna do? Shoot people? Oh yeah, they don't shoot people anymore in comics. Punisher, Kill Crew, Can't Care, Loki number 5. Look at these little minor bubbles here. Jason Aaron and Saad Ribic did the God Butcher story. The art, fantastic. I don't know anything about this. I know my boy Jimmy is going to be reading this. He'll probably say, this is the best book ever. It's so good. He likes everything, which is kind of cool. Like, he's got a lot of enthusiasm. Unfortunately, it also means I can't take his advice very strongly, because if you don't really dislike anything, then I can't use you as a critical resource. Like, it's like, hey, what about this product? Oh, it's great. What about this one? It's great. Well, what should I get? Well, they're all great. Well, no. So anyways, he loves this. I hope it's as good as the God Butcher for his sake. Jane Foster, Valkyrie. At least she's not Thor anymore, but this is stupid. She's not a Valkyrie either. And she's also not being a Valkyrie. This is just her being excused to be like, oh, she's so awesome, and she kicks ass because she's a girl. Valkyries, their role is to bring the honored warriors who died bravely and honorably in battle to Valhalla. They're sort of servants. But oh no, don't you dare say our girl Jane Foster is a servant to any man. That's right, you had to kill Odin. Damn it, I forgot to cut my video and it ended promptly. So anyways, I was saying they had to get rid of Odin so that she didn't have to serve him because she can't be serving no man. She took his place. She became the leader of the Asgardians. Her, a simple pacifist woman dying of cancer. Anyway, I hate this character almost as much as I hate Kate Bishop. But you're just like, oh, you're such a misogynist, Ash. No, I just hate stupid characters, right? Kate Bishop is a rich girl who decided she's going to take some self-defense classes, and then she found Hawkeye's bow laying around, so she picked it up and started shooting, and now she's the bestest archer that ever was, even better than the actual Hawkeye. And I'm going to take his name because I'm Hawkeye, and how dare he be the only Hawkeye? You can have no man be taking the Hawkeye name. I'm going to co-opt his name for myself. Like, what kind of asshole does that? Right? Like, you know, in DC, like when like the other Superman were running around the Death Superman Returns, like they like, oh, we're not Superman anymore. Like, I'll be someone else. Like, no one wants to infringe on someone else's identity. Not if you have any character, you know. You're like, oh, you're the real deal. You're the original. I'm not going to call myself that anymore. I was going to call myself that when I was filling in for your shoes, but you know, imagine if Falcon was running around still calling himself Captain America, you know, like while Steve Rogers is running around. It's man, it makes you look like an ass. Dan Slott, Iron Man. Does anyone care? Savage Event. Oh, look, there's Elektra. She's supposed to be dead. Oh, the last Avenger, Captain Marvel. She's the last Avenger and the first Avenger. Get it? Get it? You will get it. Kelly Thompson. Does Kelly Thompson write anything that anyone cares about? I don't think so. I hear great things about this Invader stories. I'm not buying it just because Invaders aren't my cup of tea, but I keep hearing great things. And Chip Zdarsky is doing good things on Daredevil and the recently wrapped up Spider-Man life story. History of the Marvel Universe by Mark Waid is essentially the revisionist history of the Marvel Universe by Mark Waid. So, you know, because that's what SJWs like to do. They like to revise history so that it will fit their narrative. So, hey, if you're not familiar with what happened in Marvel, you can now read Mark Waid's revising of it. Ta-Nehisi Coates still writing. I don't understand how you can put an anti-American communist racist like Ta-Nehisi Coates on Captain America. You know who likes reading Captain America? Patriots, people who love America. This is the problem with Marvel. This is Trump voters like Captain America. He stands for America. His name is literally Captain America. He's a white nationalist. Literally, he's a super white. But this is the problem. And yeah. Old Man Quill 11. It's got Doctor Doom, so I'm intrigued. Ethan Sachs. I'm intrigued. I might have to catch this on the trade. People keep saying it's good. Agents of Atlas, racist book. Guardians of the Galaxy 11. I'm buying this book. This is on my pull list. Donny Cates does cool stuff. And you can tell like this isn't even like his primary attention, but he's just writing a fun story. Swordmaster, Skip, Arrow, Skip. Oh, facsimile edition. I remember buying this on the shelf. Makes me feel old to see a comic that I bought on the shelf have a facsimile edition. Strike for it. Oh, Teeny Howard. Oh, look, Doctor Doom. Is this going to be just Doctor Doom everywhere now because he's got his own book? It's like Can you quit overusing characters? Black Panther, Black Panther and the Agents of Wakanda. Black Panther in space just looks stupid. It's so stupid. Look at this. Look at this. This is so ridiculous. We hate nationalism, but we love it when it's a black African country and they're a bunch of nationalists. We love it. But when American nationalism, screw that. That's you're Nazis. Runaway 27, Unbeatable Squirrel Girl number 50. Oh, Daredevil. Mark Giacchetto's back through hell. Here's a book. This is on my pull list. That's not on my pull list. What the hell? You can't have no white boy kissing that girl. What are you doing? Don't you know she's a Muslim girl? Oh, man. What would the parents say? I don't know. Saladin Ahmed, of course, because only Muslims can write Muslims. Gwenpool Strikes Back. Leah Williams. Yeah. Read that at your own risk. Ironheart. People keep saying Eve Ewing's doing a good job on Ironheart. I don't believe that for a second. They say you're not supposed to judge a book by its cover, but comic books have always been judged by their covers. Look at this atrocity. It's like Marvel does not even care about this book anymore. It's like, we made our political statement. We put the black girl Iron Man out. We hired the black girl that looks like the black girl Iron Man to write it. And look at us. We virtue signaled it, and now we're on issue 12 and we've moved on, and no one cares. Roy Thomas and Alan Davis on Savage Sword. Here's the Conan you want to get. And here's the woman Conan. Since Marvel has to have equal men to women, so there's 2 male Conan books, 2 female Conan books. Star Wars Target Vader. Don't care. Oh, is that the Terminator? What is this? What is the... No. Vader would just destroy Chewbacca. I don't even care. Greg Pak. Dude, Greg Pak might be almost as big of a hack. Like, this guy writes about as many comics as Bendis. It's unreal. This guy just hacks out stories. He's writing this. He's writing this. He's writing over at Boom. He's doing the Firefly books. Jedi Fallen Order. Oh, look, it's a little black girl with the lightsaber. This Force is female, don't forget. Dr. Aphra, another female. There's no male heroes anymore in Star Wars, except for the originals. They don't introduce any new male heroes. It's all girls. All. Here's Marvel's Young Guns, who aren't actually young. It's just... then we get some Marvel action stuff. Jonathan Hickman, The House and Powers of X, on sale in December. So I guess they're going to do a $50 book, hardcover. This is really good so far, though. So if you haven't been buying this and you're holding out, and somehow you're avoiding spoilers, this might be for you. What I find funny, this is page A, page B. Flip the page. Come on, you couldn't put this. Oh, Marvel. Who's all these people? Oh, probably the people that wrote Marvel Comics 1000, one of the biggest scams Marvel's ever pulled. Captain America Comics. Oh, look at this. Is that Ed Brubaker Winter Soldier that I keep hearing about. $30 hardcover? Oh, I might get this. People have been telling me this is the Captain America to read. People I trust. Steve Epting's good art. Breen, are you listening? Should I get this? Tell me in the comments. Marvel's 21st. Oh, Marvel. That's what I saw before 25th. I didn't ring a bell. Marvel's is one of the best story book. Like, read this. If you like Marvel comics at all, like you like the movie, this is fantastic. 500 pages, hardcover, annotations, $50. Amazing. That, Uncanny X-Force by Rick Remender, don't know. Look at this X-Men Children of the Atom slipcase box set. X-Men's 60s and 70s adventures from their clash with Magneto, Are these like... Okay, so these are collected books. They're not... I thought they were reprinting, like, comics. I thought they were, like, making a comic box, custom comic box, and then making, like, facsimile editions of all these books, essentially, so you could, like, buy a collection, essentially. They've done this in, like, the trading card scene before, but it looks like you're getting, Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, so you're getting X-Men. Yeah, so, I mean, if you want to collect the Lost Years of X-Men, these are all hardcover books in a slipcase. A lot of material here. How much is this thing? $500? Maybe not. Maybe. Yeah, just X-Men. It's up to start reading X-Men either from the Dark Phoenix saga or at 141 with the Days of Future Past, and read all the way through until Chris Claremont ends his run with Jim Lee, and they start the new X-Men #1. You can read like a dozen issues into X-Men. You can read like a dozen issues past that but that's the premier X-Men you want to read. If you're a person who's like, I don't know what era, like, go back and get that time frame. Either from the Dark Phoenix, which is like the one. Is it the teens? 120? I can't remember. You know the covers. Or 141 is where Days of Future Past starts. And I think that's where X-Men starts to get good. It really gets good once it hits about 200. And you get the... that's just previous to Mark Silvestri's era. And then he gets into Jim... Oh, that's all the Primo stuff. Chip Zdarsky. Here you get the trades. These are good. If you missed this, which you probably did because these don't sell that well. Yeah. Wrap this up. This is running real long and probably boring at this point. I am curious about the grand design. And Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaurs. No one reads this book. An entertaining read. Strong and expressive. A delightful team up. You bunch of shills. No one likes this book. It sells nothing. It's completely subsidized by Marvel. It's a shill book. It's a virtue signal book by Marvel. It's be like, look, see, we publish a book about a little girl. She's not even the real character. They race swapped and gender swapped the character. It's supposed to be Moon Boy and Devil Dinosaur. He's a little white boy. They replaced him with a little black girl, and now no one cares. Donny Cates, Trad Moore. Why is that? Silver Surfer Black Treasury Edition. $30 though for 5 issues, 112 pages. I don't know. So this is just a bunch of the trade stuff. Death's Head. They're already marketing the Teeny Howard Death's Head, which everyone hated on delivery. It's like, get it now. Get the trade paperback quick before everyone discovers it sucks. Oh, look who's in the background. This is Kate Bishop, my most hated character. Oh my god. What is she doing in a Death's Head book? God, no wonder this sucks. No wonder. You can just tell, like, already just from the cover what a misstep this is. A Teeny Howard of course doesn't understand what she's writing. Loki, Agent of Asgard. So stupid. Agent of Asgard. X-Men Summers and Winter trade paperback. These are like the one-shot specials. Merry Christmas. Now pass. X-Men Reload by Chris Claremont. No, the second coming of Chris Claremont was not good. They didn't give him the power to do what he did, make X-Men great. And so, yeah. Here's the Dark Phoenix saga I was telling you about, the original. Milestone issues.